Welcome, IT changemakers, to the DEX Show with Tim Flower and Tom McGraw. Let's get into it.
Hello, changemakers. As you can tell from my lack of a smooth British accent, and you can't see us, but lack of a scarf, I am not Tom McGraw. I'm Tim Flower, and Tom is not with us today for a very good reason. At the time of this recording, it's actually fairly late in the UK on a Monday night. He's probably wrestled the kids into bed and is enjoying a little peace and quiet for himself tonight. But that brings me to our guests for today, one of whom is on the other side of the planet in Sydney, Australia. I've had an opportunity to visit Sydney not once, but twice, and I'm always looking for a reason to go back. Maybe this is it. 16 hours ahead of me here in the US, or perhaps 8 hours in the other direction. Katrina Macdermid and Wesley Eugene from Humanizing IT. Welcome to you both.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
So let's start by letting the audience get to know you a little bit. Since you're so far ahead of us, Katrina, let's start with you. How did you get involved with this? You've got an initiative that you've co-founded. How are you, first of all? And then tell us a bit about your initiative. And from what I understand, it's not only a book, training, a certification. Help us understand what Humanizing IT is all about.
Certainly. Hi, Tim, and thanks for the opportunity to have Wesley and myself on your podcast. It's truly an honor. Thank you. Yes, so as you said, Humanizing IT, that's what we're all about. And my journey started with, I did briefly speak to you about this, Tim, pre-recording, is that I studied ITIL for many, many years. I'm actually a contributing author of ITIL 4 and ITIL Master back in the day. And whilst I was studying it, like most IT professionals, I thought it was a great framework, but I came to the realization that what it didn't have was experience. And I quite often say that when I was studying ITIL, there was lots and lots of books I had to read to become an ITIL master. And in all those books, there wasn't one picture of a human. And so what I had this moment of epiphany thinking, well, is it any wonder the business is unsatisfied with IT? Because we really don't consider them in the design of IT processes and services. And coincidentally, I was studying design thinking, and part of that studying was studying a wonderful company called IDEO. And I can't believe now that the former CIO of IDEO is now partnering with us at Peak Global. That's our company, and we're doing Humanizing IT. So Humanizing IT essentially is the integration of design thinking into IT service management.
Yeah, it's, in my long IT career, I've taken a lot of ITIL courses, never went down the full certification. It was one of the career regrets, but what I took away from ITIL, very rigid, it's very specific, and IT needs that, right? They need that structure. But even some of the basic terminology, like the term user, it still puts the process in terms of the technology that we give to the users. They're not employees, they're not people, they're users of what I give you. And I always thought that was backwards. We got to look at as users, as employees, and figure out what they need and how they're doing. And I think it's fascinating work that you're doing. Wes, welcome to you as well. A little bit closer to home. I believe you're down in Atlanta. So tell us about your background a little bit and your role at HIT.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tim, for having myself and Kat on. A little bit about me. So I had a multi-decade career in IT. So for a ton of reasons, I'm quite passionate about humanizing it. It's interesting because the way I look at it is throughout my career journey, I have always held it as a principle that people matter, and that at the end of the day, these principles need to orient how we make decisions in technology. And design gave me a language to express those values. And so it was really amazing to meet Kat. And as soon as she and I started to connect, and I learned what she was doing with Humanizing IT, I also shared notes as far as like the way I was approaching digital transformation at IDEO, being that I took a experience lens to approaching our digital transformation, starting with the core humans involved. And Kat and I really nerded out quite a bit in those initial meetings. But I'm thankful. I've been lucky to have a career that spans consulting with companies like Gemini Ernst Young in the early days, to also working within the top Fortune 500 enterprises like Aflac, driving digital transformation over there. Um, Companies like R1 RCM in the healthcare revenue cycle space, driving digital transformation over there. And then ultimately, last but not least, of course, my time at IDEO, it's I definitely count myself lucky and fortunate to have had an opportunity to articulate my career through storied companies like those. And, you know, just excited now that I've joined HIT Global and partnering with Kat and with Mark Basham. We're really quite excited to really articulate and move humanizing IT across the globe. Truly, it's really a mission for us. It's not just a company or a product and service.
And it's a valiant effort too. As I think back in all of the IT people that I have known throughout my career, whether they're coworkers or bosses or subordinates, IT people like the technology, but they're in many cases they're introverts, they're techie, they don't want the human side of it. Just give me the bits and bytes. And I think in making this a visible global effort can help break through that a little bit. Even the biggest introverts can still learn social skills and learn to understand what it means to supply technology to humans. I think it's a great effort, and I can't wait to learn more about it. So, Kat, I think if we drill down into the details, how's the book going? You get any kind of world tour book signing? You're making the rounds, or what's? Tell us a little bit about the book.
Yeah, we certainly are. But if I can just briefly play a bit more on what you were saying, Tim, because it's very valid to what Humanizing IT is
Yeah.
all about. And then we say that in the book and in the training as well, that IT does attract a certain type of persona typically, or personas. And what I get quite frustrated is when I hear the CIOs or the CTOs saying to their IT people, you need to be more customer focused. And to me, that's like telling someone that they need to be taller or happier. I mean, it's a very big ask, and it's like, and again, it's also like saying to someone into the business, you need to learn IT service management. Design thinking and being human centered is an education. You can't just tell people to be it. And what Humanizing IT does is we teach the tools and techniques and principles of of human-centered design into IT service management. So as I said, you can't just say it. There's actually an education involved, and that's what our training does. It teaches IT professionals these tools and techniques in a fun way, and we're about to launch an app, which is a fun way of learning, which we'll talk about in a moment. But back to the book. Yes, the book's doing amazing, and I'll be over in the US in 2 days. We're going to the Pink Elephant Conference, and we're proud sponsors. Can't wait to see David Ratcliffe and the Pink Elephant crew. And we'll be doing a sort of a soft launch of the app along with the book as well. And it will give the opportunity for all the attendees of Pink to get a copy of the book and also a sneak preview of the app. But yeah, so it's going very well, and proud to say at any conference we go to, Wes and I were in Orlando November, wasn't it, Wes? And we were the best-selling book there. Yeah, which was fantastic. We pretty much do that on every conference. Yeah, we're the best sellers. Yeah, even beating the keynotes. It's fantastic. Yeah.
That's outstanding. And like I said, I've taken that journey in reverse, so I know you've got a heck of a day and a half ahead of you to get here. But I'm sure it'll be worth it. And Wes, I'm sure there's a backstory. Kind of how did the two of you come to work together?
Yeah. So it's all about the power of social media, right? in this case, LinkedIn, which is frankly the only social media I really pay attention to, guilty admission, maybe not atypical for an IT guy. But in LinkedIn, yeah, I write sometimes, I post different ideas, and Kat reached out to me via LinkedIn. I got a message from her. Honestly, Kat, it may have been a part of a more general reach out to other CIOs. I have no idea. But Kat was truly interested in the fact that I was both the CIO and um, I was at IDL. And these two facts intersected in interesting ways. So she was curious as to how I was thinking about human-centered design from an IT perspective. And I was like, wait a second, here I have an opportunity to talk to an expert, a co-author of ITIL 4 and the author of an entirely new framework called Humanizing IT. So I said, this is an excellent opportunity for me to get some free consulting. Let me go ahead and have a meeting with Kat, because I had all these ideas in my head where I was shaping a digital transformation anchored on experiences as its foundation, instead of anchoring on new products, services, or capabilities. And frankly, I was really lonely. I was looking for folks who would understand this mishigas I had in my head. And so, in speaking with Kat, she looked at it. She told me about humanizing IT. I showed her and shared with her what I was advancing at IDEO around this human-centered digital transformation, and she was like, "Wes, you're one of the few CIOs I've ever spoken to that actually gets this." And so one thing led to another. We continued to share notes. We ended up co-presenting at IT Service Management World, sponsored by HCI, and then we had another opportunity to present again at uh, Service Management World, and of course, I'm blanking on the name
No,
of the
I'm
other one.
blank too, Wes, because I always get them mixed up, SDI and HDI. So yeah, yeah.
That's right. And so, one in Orlando, one in Vegas. One was a whole class that we ended up co-facilitating, and the other one was a talk. But they were both highly ranked. There was a lot of excitement because, quite honestly, IT people know that people in IT feel that there's an existential threat to the way they've always done things. Now we're seeing the advance of generative AI and different things of that nature. Let me put a statement out there quite bluntly. We cannot have robots have more personality and be more human-centered than people. So I think a lot of folks in IT understand this, and so they're really gravitating to the message and that Kat's putting out there, and that we're putting out in the world around humanizing IT through the integration of human-centered design and with IT service management.
In my career and my journey through the digital employee experience path, one of the things that became obvious to me and my team when I was in internal IT was that we cause employee experience. We don't create it. It's not done intentionally. It's done as an outcome of the technology that we touch. And in many cases, that experience of the employees we support is poor. And it's poor because it's not done intentionally. It's done by happenstance. So being intentional about it, I think, is a really important part of the whole puzzle in technology. And like we said, tech people, they gravitate to the tech. The technology's easy. The people are hard. And I think this makes it really intentional. Wes, in that evolution of ITSM, how are you trying to approach that evolution out of the gate? What were some of the early thinkings of how to kind of tackle this before we head off to this this notion of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, sure. So the approach I most recently took at IDEO was really solving back from the employee experience. So in fact, we defined three core experiences to anchor everything on. The employee experience was one, the client experience was another, and then the third one was actually the delivery experience, and that was anchored on the persona of the team. And so by thinking about these three core experiences, we begin to work backwards to say, okay, when we look at this holistically, what does it mean to be a employee at IDEO? You join, you go from hire to retire, right? You join, you execute, you move to a period where maybe you decide to leave the company, or maybe you decide to just gig with the company in the future. And from an ITSM standpoint, it's really looking at those moments of engagement. So, in order to have a more holistic and a more frictionless employee experience, we had to expand our aperture to include HR. We had to
Right.
expand our aperture to include finance, to include other parts of our operations, to really think about, Tim, to your point, the digital employee experience, right? Looking at it end to end and not thinking squarely about IT's role as a silo, but more as a glue across the entire operational spectrum. And really, a lot starts and ends with the service desk, and it doesn't change. That's the point at which folks engage with us and want to understand and make sense of things. That's where they come for help. And it was really important to recast the service desk as not the IT service desk, but we just recast everything as help. So we were just help. You need help with anything, help. You come to us. They were actually coming to the service portal, and they were engaging with all parts of operations, not just IT. And that was really core to how we gained success there.
Yeah, our service desk phone number, and I got to believe a lot of others, ended in 4357, right? HELP. Uh, that's where you go to get support. The only reason, and I made this case for a long time, the only reason the service desk exists in its current iteration is because IT doesn't know if the employee has a problem. The only way, and our CEO is famous for saying this to us, our employees have to stop what they're doing and call you to tell you about a problem that you probably caused. So I love the idea of reimagining that service desk to be an area where you can get help for things that you need help with that maybe are not even related to IT disruptions. So the biggest chore for all of us, I think, or not chore, the biggest challenge is to get people to think differently about complicated concepts. And I love the analogies. I love talking in ways that boil it down to something very simple to understand. In our environment, we always talked about the IT firefighter. We're the fire, we're on the fire engine. We're going to come in. We're going to put this huge, complicated fire out. And what we didn't tell people was there's an IT arsonist in the back room that lit that fire a month ago. We would just want to be the firefighter hero. There's the analogy of turning the lights on, and we're in the dark and we can't see things. We need more visibility, so let's turn the lights on. But Kat, you landed on the Wizard of Oz, and I'm really interested in exploring this with you. What was it about the Wizard of Oz that drew your attention in terms of an analogy?
Well, it's kind of a good lead in, Tim, because when you're talking to Wes about the service desk and IT service management, in my opinion, I think that we are all confused about what actually is IT service management. It's IT service, so an IT service such as a network, printer, email,
Right.
that's an IT service, and we're managing that IT service. And then somewhere among the mix, we did we or didn't we? Does service actually mean to serve, or is it the IT service? So I just like to sort of call that out because there is often confusion, and quite often we are there providing an IT service. the service that comes along with it costs money, it's investment, and it again requires training and education. So do the CIOs and CTOs give IT budget for that? No. They give us money to manage the IT service. They don't give us money for the service. Yeah. So how did Wizard of Oz come on that note? Because it is about experience, and I guess it was Wes's idea, so I'm not going to take the amazing accolade of the title of that, because we were in Orlando, fun, lots of parks, and so we thought, why don't we do Wizard of Oz? So that's how it came about, and then it just sort of morphed into, hey, this is really going to fit with the different characters of the Wizard of Oz. I must admit, I don't have children, and I had to go back a bit about who were the characters. And the more we studied it and the actual, the intent of what the Wizard of Oz, it was just a perfect fit of what AI can do and what it shouldn't do in the realm of IT service management. And again, it was like a standing room only. Actually, we had to unfortunately push people out of the room. It was too crowded. But yeah, I guess, Wes, how did you come up? I forgot. What was the great idea that made you think of that? What fed that idea, I should say?
Well, as we were going back and forth working on the presentation, we're talking quite a bit about AI, right? And we wanted a simple way to help everyone understand, not on a technical level, because there's plenty of ways to understand AI technically, but how do we understand its relevance on a conceptual level and what it means to IT folks who've committed themselves to IT over decades, like we have. And Kat knows this about me. I love a good metaphor. Kat loves great metaphors too, right? Like we're both metaphor files, if that's a word. And
Good.
so we're
It is
looking for
now.
a great metaphor here. And I thought about the character of the Tin Man. This is really the core metaphor that drove me. The Tin Man was in search for a heart. And when we think about humanizing IT, we're literally looking at putting a heart, right? Literally, it's a part of the symbol of putting a heart into technology. So it seems so apropos to go to the Tin Man. And the funny thing is, as we started to explore the Tin Man, we went beyond the Tin Man to other characters. This whole metaphor exploded. It was so rich with different ways to think about IT and this journey with AI and what it means to everyone. So that was the impetus. I couldn't have developed that alone, Kat.
And
It was us.
it's collaboration, huge design thinking. But
Collaboration.
as
Exactly.
Wes said, we really, the characters came to life, and we made the Wicked Witch of the East, is it East or West, Wicked Witch, the CFO, and so we were making all these characters relating back to the business, and it actually it worked really, really well, actually. Yeah.
There's just so many parallels in that story, from the Wicked Witch representing everything that can go wrong along the journey, the Good Witch as the career educator, even the tornado that comes along in the middle of the night, the outage that can knock us off for a loop. But Wes, what's the kind of what's the connection to the Yellow Brick Road? I mean, we could talk characters all day long, but that Yellow Brick Road is a character unto itself too. What's the story there?
You know, the thing about Yellow Brick Road, I think, as I think about it, is it's a really great metaphor for what we're all on. We're all on this journey. We we often focus on the destination, and especially, I mean, think about IT and ITSM. You know, MTTR, mean time to resolution, right? We are thinking about the destination or the outcome almost always. We rarely focus on the journey, but the journey is actually where the magic is at. The journey is what people are going to remember. The journey is when human beings make new connections, fall in love, fall out of love with the organization, have an enhanced experience or not. And so it's really important that we focus on the journey itself and how we really provide and amplify value, remove friction, and make that, you know, yellow, I think, is a metaphor for, it's probably really a gold road, right? Like
Mm.
ultimately, how can we advance golden journeys, right? And I think there's something really powerful about thinking about the yellow brick road in terms of the journeys of all of the humans that are having these technology experiences. Kat, what would you say?
I just took notes with for my next post on the MTTR. Because it's true, and you know we're doing work for a very big global company, and it's the same that everyone's focused on getting that service back up, but no one's thinking about what's happening, and what is happening is experience, and so clients are complaining, not complaining, but saying that there's challenges because they don't know what's going on, they're not getting timely comms, or the comms don't make sense, and that is such another great, and I'm going to use it for a post, so thanks for that. Yeah. So AI, and another premise of that, Tim, was that we AI has been around in IT service management for decades,
Yeah.
and I know this sounds very harsh, but I'll say it, that most IT service management capabilities or maturity I've seen are extremely low, and we don't have a CMDB. What we don't have a CMDB. Our services aren't mapped. We don't even know what our services are. Knowledge articles are written in text speak. Um, should I go on? And so it doesn't matter that we can have AI because we've already got it. We've and how have we done it? We've done it very poorly. So what this one of the premises of the speech was is, yeah, you can have the greatest technology because we've already got it in many many ways, and we've made our balls up of it. And so what our speech was about is like we still need the human experience in that, and as I said earlier, humanizing IT is about educating IT professionals about human-centered design to ensure that everything is human-centered.
I think IT in many cases, in my observation, IT wants the easy button, right? Let's get rid of this complexity. Let's find the easy way. And if I can't find the easy button, I'm going to find the shortcut. And when we do those things, we miss out on the education. We miss out on the journey. We miss out on the transformation of our teams. And we get stuck in this constant desire to just find the easy way out of this versus the right journey that is better for us in the long run. And I think that applies to our careers as well, right? Employees are on a journey with their company, uh, um, uh, divisions and departments, organizations are on a journey as they try to get better. IT people are on a career journey as well, right? And all of this matters. And I say this kind of having a 35-year career journey behind me. It's a little bit easier to look at what that journey looks like in the rearview mirror than in the forward out the windshield. But Wes, how should IT people look at and maybe even narrow it down to the end user computing pros? How do they look at this journey of the Wizard of Oz and that golden sidewalk? How do they apply that to their own individual career development?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tim. A lot has been said about AI replacing a lot of the capabilities that we have from an ITSM perspective, like generative AI in particular. Um, there's a lot of hype around there around it, literally reducing the size or removing, um, or potentially creating a pathway to um, eliminating or replacing parts of end user compute as we know it. And I start with AI
Mm,
because from a professional development standpoint, I think it's really important, of course, that in using compute, end user compute professionals and ITSM professionals overall really understand AI and don't view it as the boogeyman, right? So that's really, really important. And while I've heard a lot about it's not it's not technology professionals that will be replaced by AI, but technology professionals will be replaced by technology professionals that understand and work with AI. I think that's actually wrong.
Right.
I think the correct statement is technology professionals will be replaced by technology professionals who work with AI and understand AI, but who also understand the human experience. It's really those three components. It's not the two that's going to make the difference. And um, it's so critical. It's more critical now than ever before from a professional development standpoint to understand what design is, understand human-centered design, and integrate that with your understanding of the technology. The newest kid on the block, of course, is AI, as the newest old kid on the block, to be fair. Um, and so that's really where it's at. I think you have to understand and dedicate yourself to the experience. I did a post some time ago. Um, I love hip hop, and I grew up with hip hop, and so I thought about the experience of hip hop over the ages, and you know, back in my younger day, we had people walking around with huge boom boxes on their shoulders, and they'll put a
Mm-hmm.
carton on the sidewalk and start breakdancing, right? The experience of people coming together with music hasn't changed. Now you can pick up a little digital boom box that you Bluetooth into and have a great party. But the point is, whether you're looking at that boombox, whether you're looking at the Walkman, or whether you're looking at all these boomboxes, the digital devices we carry around that anchor our music, and the experience of human beings moving their bodies and enjoying music hasn't gone away, right? The experience is almost this eternal component to anchor on, and while you can see change happening all around. So the technology will continue to evolve, tastemakers evolve, influencers evolve, but the experiences are our anchors. And I really believe these technology professionals, if they anchor on the experience, they'll also have recession proof their jobs and prepare themselves for the future.
Right. I saw a great keynote in the fall in at Gartner, and she talked about embracing AI and getting rid of this notion that AI is here to replace me, and look at AI, which has been around for a while but really exploded last year. But look at AI as a partner and a collaborator to make you better, and learn how to use it to its fullest advantage and to your fullest advantage. But you're right; it can't be a replacement. It can't humanize you if you're not looking at it the right way. So I think that's hugely important. Um, Kat, how do you see the connection to this inundation of AI? What's the dynamic between end user compute and AI, and that guiding principle of humanization? How do you see it developing so far?
Yeah, so there's a few things there, Tim. I quite often say that IT professionals are unwittingly creating user experience, or unwittingly and unknowingly. Well, we are. Every time we fulfill a service request, that's an experience. Every time we ask direct a user to a knowledge article, that's experience. And again,
Yeah.
the frameworks do not teach IT professionals user experience. So all of a sudden, we don't know, but we are UX. We're creating UX, but we don't know how to do it. And so that again, that's what Humanizing IT does. We teach IT professionals the skills required for that. And when you said earlier, we want a magic button to fix things. Well, we do have a magic button, amazing tools like ServiceNow and NextFix, everything. There's amazing tools out
Yeah.
there. They're all great, everyone's got to, but most I've seen are not configured in a user experience. So what Wes was saying is that where AI can help IT professionals is that learn these principles to design a really great experience with your service management tooling. because I often hear that UX people and CX people and are coming into IT and designing the portal and things like that. That's great, but the problem with that, and I'm very passionate about this, they do not understand IT service management. So
Right.
they'll create a nice, pretty, and I'm being a bit facetious, but nice portal. So that's a start, because it's more user friendly speak. Not I have a network issue, because what the heck's a network issue, and how does a user know? But then what happens behind that? That is service management, and so the UX and CX people don't understand that, and so we actually, there's still a disconnect. So I want IT professionals to actually do the UX themselves, because they know service management. And using AI, and to me, that's what we're saying, is an amazing opportunity for IT professionals to advance their career and become really valuable in the marketplace by having these combined skills coupled with the AI.
They are rare skills when you find them together in the same person, the IT side and the humanization side, and when you couple that with AI and really know how to bring it all together, it definitely makes a valuable resource. Wes, let me put it this way: take out the crystal ball, look over the next year or two. How do you expect this all to develop over the next few years?
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting ride, right? Because um, I think we're still in that steep hill, that steep incline of adoption of all these emerging technologies. I think over the next 2 years, we're going to see not just AI, but we'll see, VR, AR, XR. We'll see other components of all these emerging technologies really reshape the digital experience. And I think it's really exciting to think about what that means from a IT service management perspective. Um, because I think we'll be able to take leaps and bounds in developing more empathy with our end users. And For example, like today, if something's going wrong with a employee's computer, we all know that a mature service desk tech could remote into the machine and help address in real time. Now let's think about that differently. Like, let's imagine that same service desk technician with all these emerging technologies. You've got the AI, you've got the augmented reality, and all of this. Like, imagine bringing them virtually into the room, so you don't feel like you're alone. You feel like this person has an understanding of your space, your office, how you've got your computer. The problem of somebody saying my mouse doesn't work and they're holding it up, that problem disappears from a remote troubleshooting perspective, because someone can see that you're holding it up. I, I I really believe it's an exciting time to think about how these technologies, not any one of them, but all of them in concert, integrate with focus on the human experience to develop and drive more empathy into all of us as we practice this trade craft called IT.
I think, although I could continue to talk about this with you for another hour, it's probably a great place to wrap it up and let the audience kind of come to you and do a little bit more research. Wes, where can they find you online? I think you said your primary spot is LinkedIn, right?
My primary spot is LinkedIn at Leading with Wes. But frankly, they can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Leading with Wes, or even Instagram at Leading with Wes.
Excellent. And Kat, closing thoughts, parting thoughts, and where can folks find you as well?
Yeah, thanks again for the opportunity to be. I'm with you. We could sit here and talk for another hour or two. It's been fascinating. So thanks, Tim, for the opportunity, and the wonderful people at NextSync. We're launching our new website, so that's hitglobal.services, and also obviously on LinkedIn. And as I said, we're launching our Humanizing IT app shortly. and be great for people to contact me to have a go. That would be much appreciated. So thanks, Tim.
That's outstanding. Thank you both for joining. It was really fascinating talking with you. I really enjoyed having you both on the show. So thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you, Tim.
To make sure that you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast player. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a rating of the show. Just tap the number of stars you think the podcast deserves. If you'd like to learn more about how NextThink can help you improve your digital employee experience, head over to nextthink.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.